think about the question, is the life on this planet the only form of life there is? Or is the universe full of life? In this chapter, I wasn't able to find ancient legends. The only chapter where I couldn't find any ancient legends, and the reason, of course, is that the very idea that there is a planet Earth, which is just one of a very large number of stars and planets, is a very recent idea. So for the ancients, the Earth was the only thing that existed, and so, understandably enough, there were no legends about other planets. So I had to rely on modern myths about Are We Alone, and believe me, there are plenty of them. Some very high percentage, I keep meaning to look it up, of Americans believe not only that this planet has been visited by flying saucers, but believe that they have personally been abducted, taken on board a flying saucer, and subjected to the most undignified sexual experiments. The serious scientific question, are we alone, is not answerable by present-day science. We don't know the answer. Carl Sagan was often asked the question, do you think we're alone? Do you think there's life on other worlds? And he very properly said, he gave the correct answer, which is, I don't know. So his questioner said, but what's your gut feeling? And Carl Sagan said, but I try not to think with my gut. Well, I don't mind just a little brief thinking with my gut. If you calculate, as has been done, the total number of stars in the universe, present estimate puts it about 10 to the 22. Until recently, we had no way of knowing whether all those stars, or many of those stars, had planets. Now there's good evidence, again actually from rainbows, from looking at the shifting spectrum of a star as planets whirl around it. There's good evidence that stars, probably most stars, certainly many stars, do have planets. So this solar system is not unique, it's common. So the number of planets available for life to have started on seems to be somewhat more than 10 to the 22. That's 122 noughts after it, not a small number. It may be that we are alone. It may be that this is literally the only planet in the entire universe of 10 to the 22 stars, maybe the only planet where life has arisen. That's not completely out of the question, because if there is only one planet where life has arisen, then it would have to be this planet. Obviously. That's known as the anthropic principle, and it's a powerful principle. So you can't rule out the idea that we are alone simply by appealing to the principle of mediocrity, simply by appealing to the idea that it would be surprising if we were all that unique. We could be unique. We could be unique because if there is a unique planet, then there's no other planet that is what it could be but this one. But if you are disposed to take that view, if you're the kind of person who wants to believe we are alone, I would encourage you to think it through, because that view commits you to a rather strange view of the origin of life on this planet. The origin of life on this planet is still a puzzle. Nobody knows how it happened. It's a puzzle in chemistry. Somehow, by the laws of chemistry, molecules, perhaps in the primeval soup, came together in such a way as to produce a self-replicating molecule, a molecule that had the property that DNA has. It probably wasn't DNA, but something like DNA, property of making copies of itself. Not just that, but different kinds of, different versions of it had to be true. Now that could have been an extremely improbable event. But if you want to believe that this is the only planet that has life, then you're committed to the view that the origin of life on this planet was a quite stupefyingly improbable event, a quite ludicrously, staggeringly improbable event. So improbable that it only happened once in 10 to the 22 opportunities for it to happen. And if you believe that, then you're committed to the view that any chemist who goes into the lab and tries to work out how the origin of life happened is wasting his time, because the sort of theory of the origin of life that we'd be looking for, on your view that life on this planet is unique, the sort of theory we'd be looking for is not a plausible theory. It's not even a slightly implausible theory. It is a quite preposterously implausible theory. It's like getting a perfect deal at bridge. Now, I don't believe that for a moment. I don't believe it was that improbable. And so, that I think commits me to the view that the origin of life on this planet was sufficiently easy that it's probably happened all over the universe. Suppose that there are 1 billion planets in the universe where life has originated and evolved. 1 billion is a tiny number compared to 10 to the 22. If there are only 1 billion life forms dotted around the universe, islands of life, then these islands are likely to be so spaced out, so far apart from each other, that they never have any hope of meeting each other, any hope of finding any evidence for each other. They would be like a sort of celestial Polynesia, where the canoes never travel far enough to get any